Thank you. Okay, can you see that on the screen, guys? My lovely picture.
Yes.
Yeah. The afro in the background, isn't it?
Yeah, and the little urine. See the little urine? That was, I have had it clipped to there before. Right, guys, give you a little bit of an insight. So what tonight is about is basically, it's not, I'm going to introduce obviously myself to those that don't know me, talk a little bit about what I've done, just so as you've got an idea. It's not, I like doing that, trust me, I'm not like Hoops. I don't want photos all around the stadium of me like 355 on every wall from every stage of his life. I said to him the other night, I don't think he's got any photos in his house. He can't have. There can't be any more photos. So I'll talk a little bit about that just to give you an idea, because obviously I'm lucky enough to be working full-time in football now, and if I can do it, then anyone can do it. But just to give you an insight into that, then a bit around, put some meat on the bones, what we discussed with the board and senior management around the structure and what we put in the PDF that we sent to everyone. And then a little bit around what we've used within the academy and what we use in the development centres in terms of the KPIs, our individual learning programs, and also around the matrices as well. And then there's a couple of clips on there of a coaching session and a video session analysis, just to show you the little things that we use that might look quite technical, but they're not, because if I can do them, and Lloydie does them as well, trust me, they can't be that difficult, can they, Lloydie? You know, if we can do them, then anyone can do them, really can. So I'll crack straight on about it, guys. So this is a little bit when I've been coaching, etc. And some of the players that I've coached that have gone on and been pros and playing in the pro games now, some of them in the Premier League, some in League One, some in the Championship, all the way through. So just goes to show that these lads all started somewhere. Two of them played out on the pitch out on my farm. So if they've got that and they've got to the levels they've got to, it shows that they can do it.
I'll take any credit for that top left, mind.
A top left. It was the top left. Oh, Jared Bowen.
Top cleat. That's top cleat.
Yeah, I think everyone's jumping on that one now, aren't they? I think all the boys have had to hide the shirt from down the centre now. I think they all want to have it now, unless Oxy's going to nip. So yeah, and then my three non-negotiables that I've always tried to work through in life, and these are sort of things that I put on myself, why I want to do things that I want to try and do and the best that I can be. Number one is to be the best that I can be in terms of the best dad, son, husband, friend, mentor, whatever that is. Again, we've all got to work for a living, but at the bottom line is, like today's perfect in case I had to stop what I was doing and go and get my daughter, as we would all do. Number two, why? Basically, Hillsborough gave me a second chance at life, and I always wanted to put something back into football after that. And so, you know, it was probably why I got into football coaching. And then the bottom one, enjoy what we do. Because at the end of the day, you don't get a second innings. It's like, you know, you go and play cricket or you play football with your mates and somebody scores, they say, I'll start the score again. We don't get a chance of this again. So this is why I try and do what I do and certainly enjoy what we do, because I think it's so important. This is what we agreed with the board, etc., and the PDF that I sent the other night. So this is going to put a little bit of meat on the bones for you, to give you a bit of an idea where we're at, etc. Sorry, is that Rich? Are you on?
Yeah, I'm here. How you doing? All right.
Yeah, good, mate. Thanks for jumping on, mate. I said I have recorded it so as that I can upload it via a YouTube channel and share with everyone later. So if anyone's missed it, if Pete's not on in time.
Smudge has joined as well.
Smudge is on as well, is he?
I believe so.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Smudge. Evening, mate. You
Oh,
okay?
cool, yeah. So I had no sound for a second, but I've sorted now. Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. What I've said is we've just recorded. We've recorded it from the start, so we can upload it via a YouTube channel. And I can. What we'll do at the end is, if you throw me your email addresses, I can email you the link, and then you can, if rather than share it publicly on YouTube, we can share it individually then, so we can see it all.
Yeah.
So this was basically the structure around the football club that we saw, that I put to the board the other night, is how I see it and how I kind of think it works, in terms of the under 18s with all your names on there, etc. Last year, obviously, we had the CYFL League and the MJPL League, and then leading into the senior management team, obviously leading into the first team, and then with obviously Tom on the left-hand side as the goalkeeping coach throughout it all. On top of that, a little bit of meat on the bones that we talked about the other night on the PDF that came out. So coaches and staff working all together. We're all part of this from the top right down. And I think that's the biggest thing that made me want to come to the club, was how invited it was, how welcome it was, and good people. And you could see, you know, that it was a big project, but it's one club, one ethos, one goal. And end of the day is to try and create players for the first team. How do we do this? So the little bit around that is, for me, it's like a 5-year plan. Some of these 18s at 23, a lot of them will think at 18, 19, oh, I'll get in the first team. Oh, I'll be playing step 5, step 6 football. And we've got scholars at the football club that aren't good enough to do that at step 5 and 6. So for our lads to think they can get into a step 4 side, or even our senior dev side, I'd like to think a lot of our 18s could get into our senior dev side, but ultimately they won't get in there and play. If there's 30 games a season, they won't play 30. They'll play 16, 15, 16 here and there, because that's their body, that's their physicality about it. So how do we get them to that? They need to be challenged. They need to be taken out of their comfort zones. Hence why we talk about shifting them side to side in the squads and not putting them in that it's comfortable for them. We want to challenge them. And, some of them might fight, freeze. They might fight, whichever. In terms of fight, they want it. In terms of freeze, shit, I don't like this. I want to play with my mates. I would go in the car with them. I want to play with them on a Saturday, etc. To me, they're never going to get to where we want them to go. So it's basically a short-term gain, but buy into the ethos of the club. Okay, that's what we want to try and do short-term. What we're trying to do, bear with us. There will be stumbling blocks along the way. There will be problems, but there's always, whenever there's a problem, there's always a solution somewhere. Mid-term game for the boys to step into senior development, and then the long-term game is to get them in and around the first team environment. Create players to be able to step into the senior development and want to. And I think that's the key thing that the boys have got to go up and enjoy that experience in terms of challenged around what they're doing. So that's why we're trying to, get everyone in around what we're doing. So they're closely working with the senior development management team and the players and get the environment how we want it. The environment with a different ethos to the 18s. In terms of the 18s, don't give a shit about any results. It's about, can we get players into the senior dev? Can we then push them on even higher? Whereas the senior development, a little bit different around that, because especially this season now we're going into the football pyramid and the step 7. It's basically, wow, all of a sudden it's the here and now. Results do matter. And which is crazy to think of it. I almost, I said to the board the other night, to me, in all honesty, the results probably matter more in senior dev this season than the first team. Because the first team, with all due respect, should be comfortable in that league. So without having to rip up any trees, they should be okay. But the senior devs, the pressure's going to be on because we want to get them into step 6. So challenging the players then from the 18s, etc., and the current players to step into a more pressured situation, and can they deal with it? Because that's when the best players thrive, if they can handle the pressure. You hear about players saying they're nervous when they go into games, and which is brilliant. That's what you want. Create an enjoyable, fun environment for them to flourish. And I know it sounds a cliche, it really does, but all successful organizations have it. They really do. If you're happy in what you're doing, it's like anything, isn't it? If you're happy in your job, you thrive even more. I now, so lucky to work in football full time, there's not enough hours in the day in terms of, I honestly don't want to stop at night. I want to keep going because I'm so lucky to be doing the job that I do. So to me, how do we do that? Positivity over negativity. Everyone can find fault with everything. We really can. We could find fault. Like today, we said we were going to start this at 6. No, Bev doesn't start at 6:45. Oh, why is that? We're all busy, blah, blah, blah. Let's find positives, because, the no dickheads culture that the All Blacks use is a great one, and it's true. And, all of us, I'm the lucky one to be in football full time, but obviously it's for Cheltenham. So, other things take priority. But again, your family first, as we always say. Your 18's WhatsApp group, like that, I love it. It's positive. It's team bonding. You're talking about how can we thrive? How can we get the team bonding going with the sessions we're doing, what you're going to do around, paintballing, whatever you're going to do at the club, etc. I think it's brilliant. And then your coaching sessions, they got to be fun. And I've always said this when I've coached, that all the sessions I've done going into the thousands, there's some that I haven't enjoyed. If I haven't enjoyed them, then I know the players haven't enjoyed them. And there's not many of that, because I tend to enjoy it because I'm doing something I love doing, as we all do. That's why we do what we do, for the very little reward financially. But trust me, like those pictures I showed at the start of the lads that I got through, I wasn't as proud as Jared's parents the other night when he scored the winner, but I was certainly very proud. When Jack Butland played for England, when Owen made his debut for Cheltenham, those types of things, it's like, wow, that no price can put on that. And I think that's why, we try and make it as fun as we do. Sacrificing results. This is talking about the long-term development plan. So this is about the 18s, 2 teams, but 1 age group for 1 club. And that is not an easy thing to do. Like I said, doing this, setting this presentation up is easy, but making that 2 teams into 1 group work as one for one club is not going to be easy, because you will get, you know, boys that will go into their cliques, that they're favourites with them or they'll pass to them, especially as we're bringing new players in this season. But together, we will make it work. We will create one club and one mentality. So if we're looking at 30 players, hopefully 35 players, one squad, 2 leagues, but 1 age group. So how I look at that, that's double the opportunities. And around that, I talk about that they can play for any team, depending on the coach's views, collaboration in that, the joined up thinking amongst all the coaches. And this is why, you know, I want to be looking at it in terms of, you know, can we select the squad after the coaching sessions? You know, if the staff are there, can we have a quick 10, 15 minutes, get your squads together, right? Okay, we know it'll change by the weekend or by the game day. We know that. But as long as we've got a bit of an identity of where we're going and where we want to go, then we're going to have some idea. Some weeks we're going to challenge the players to move squads in terms of, let's just say we've got a lad that is going to play for the senior devs on Saturday, or he's going with the squad on Saturday, we're pretty sure. Well, then we're going to play him on the Monday night game, and then he'll train on the Wednesday. He won't be involved in the Thursday squad that he normally is, because he then goes with the senior dev side.
Sorry, Anne. What days are the games?
What?
Is it the home games Monday?
Cheltenham League, all the home games for us, same as Midland Floodlit, will be on a Monday, because that's the only day sort of we'll have available. It's the odd Tuesday now and again, if pitch allows us, and especially with first team fixtures. But other than that, it just depends, obviously, on the opposition, because they've given in 2 or 3 nights that they prefer their home games to be. So there was a couple of Midland Floodlit games last year that were Friday nights. We in the Cheltenham League, I think, James, we played pretty much nearly every night apart from a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, didn't we?
Yeah. So in speaking with the leagues and with the board, basically we've tried to say that, and the leagues don't like you to play on a Friday night, because hence why I don't like 18s playing on a Saturday in terms of an 18s league, because they should be going into men's football. That's the idea of what 18s is about. So this is why we don't want them playing on a Friday night. So we're looking at, hopefully next season, the one league will be our home games. We dictate our home games what night. So either it will be a Monday night or a Thursday night. That is the plan for the one league on the Monday night, the other league on the Thursday night. So, for example, if we've got a lad that's been with the senior dev, let's just say 4 weeks running, but he's only had collective minutes, about 60 or 70 minutes, which is great. But hang on, we need to get him more, or we need to ramp him back up. Right, well, he can play on Monday night and he can go with the squad on the Thursday night and have some more minutes. So it's, again, challenging them. And that's why I said we as staff will lead by example by doing the same. So, for example, I might say that, you know, can Tom, can you go with the Cheltenham League on the Monday night? And you've been with it the last 3 weeks. Right, can you go with the Midland League this week? And the reason around that is that then when we have a communication of one evening and we all sit down and do a Zoom like this and we go through the players, everyone knows every player in that squad and we can all have a gauged opinion on it. And I think that'll help with the development of that player, but also us as coaches. That's challenging us. You know, we're taken out of our comfort zone and suddenly it's more comfortable. And that's what we want. Ultimately, whilst we talk about the long-term development is to get players into the first team, Hoops isn't doing that forever. City's not doing that forever. I'm not doing this forever. Somebody will replace us. And that, ideally, is one of you guys stepping into what we do. So, again, part of the package is that we want to challenge you guys to do that as well. So, again, that's why, you know, we want to try and do that. And there always will be player bias. If I've had a player that's been playing for me at a football club, they will follow you around. It's Kieran Blackburn. I've known Kieran since my Westfield days. You always do have a player bias towards that player. Then if it's a 50-50 call, you always go with that. If we've got 6 heads, 7 heads round that table on an opinion, I think it'll be phenomenal. And that's where I go back to this, again, the bottom line, 30 players, 1 squad, 2 leagues and 1 group of staff. And I just see that working so well. And that's when I go on to this, that we say at Christmas, for example, we sit down, have an opinion on every player. We'll have done a Zoom. We'll have got all the players where we think they are in the pecking order. For once, we could put them into 3 groups of 10. So a top 10, a middle 10, and a lower 10. Then around that, theoretically, what we could say, if we've got, say, our Cheltenham team, our Cheltenham squad is in the top 4, okay? Because predominantly whilst you never know what teams are going to be there in terms of how strong they are till you've played probably them all once. If suddenly our Cheltenham Youth League were in the top 4, but our MJPL are in the bottom 4, right, let's put our top 15 players in that bottom league. Let's go and challenge them. Let's put them in there, and also give the ones that have been struggling, they can go into the other league. Now, there are different challenges around that, but again, it gives players the opportunity to impress in different environments, different challenges. And that's what we want to try and see. And that's why we're trying to put it like this structure. Sorry?
I think that's a good idea. That
listen, I mean, like I said, these are ideas, and we never know how they work. We've never tried it before. We've done it a bit within the academy structure but that's a little bit different. What we've done there is we've put players up to try and challenge them.
Again, though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
comes back to you freeze, or do you try and get better?
Yeah, exactly. And it's the same, we're trying to get the coaches will learn off each other. One aim to get players in the senior devs and flourish. And in 3 to 5 years, first team squad. And again, like I say, that's staff as well. Okay. So again, we'll do analysis session when the games are filmed over Zoom for staffs and players. I'll touch on in a little while about some KPIs designed to help players to develop their next stage of their development, and also their professionalism, because we want to challenge them to go to that next level. So this is an example of a stat. Okay, this is what I would do, and I do this even when I'm managing myself on the sidelines. So this is a shot stats. So for example, this was in the Midland Football League in 2018. So in the penalty box, we had 7 out of 9 shots. Outside the penalty box, we had 3 out of 4. Overall, we had 10 out of 13, which is 77%. Against us, as you can see, they're obviously a poor side. 1 on 1 out of target, none out of 2 outside the box. So they had 1 out of 3. The result was a 1-0 win. So it just goes to show that, those sorts of things, the stats have got a guide. And obviously you can see their goalkeeper was Kieran, and he had no saves. There I put it that he had 1 save, but it was above a 7 out of 10. The reason I do these stats is, and this is, again, to work on the team, but also individual players. So elite teams look for 60% accuracy on target. Well, we were 77% there. We then played Walsall Wood the following week, and we had 33%. So, and we lost that game 1-0. So it just goes to show you the little bit of difference. So 77-33, you're going to look for that 60% average. If you get 60%, you also look for a striker, should be looking for 3 shots on target equals 1 goal. And that's, again, is the aim. So how many goals you score in the end is how many, you can work out. So we've looked at it down here. We've got the strike rate per goal is 3.3 shots per goal. So every 3.3 shots on target went to a goal for us. But in the first block of 6 games, it was every 5. That should be no higher than a 3. And again, these are stats that we've used when we were on our A license and etc. And we got it drummed into us that these were elite players. So Harry Kane will look for these sort of stats. And a lot of players will turn around and say, yeah, but we're not fucking Harry Kane, are we? No, you're not. But you're not playing against Virgil van Dijk neither. So you're playing against the same player at your level. So these KPIs are certainly achievable for you. And that's as a team and a squad. And stats never lie. They're a guide. They're not the be-all and end-all, but they do give you a guide. So if you went to an individual now, and I'll use a player that's with Malvern at the moment, Benny Hayes. So this was Benny Hayes' season for us. 21 starts, 10 on the bench. Inside the penalty box, he had 21 out of 29. Outside the box, it was 7 out of 13. So overall, he was 28 out of 42. And there he was 67% average, which again is what I said. He's above an elite striker for that level, for our level. And that was step 5 in my first season. He had 10 goals. So he had 10 goals in 28 shots that were on target. So his strike rate was every 2.8 was on target. And when you look at that, then a lot of those players will keep him below 3. And that was a successful season for us. You look at Craig Jones there and you'll think, wow, every 5 shots. So I looked at Craig's stats and we did this. The reason that I did this was he started every game. He was 17 out of 25 inside the box, which was great. But look at his ratio outside the box, 20 out of 44, less than 50%. So again, overall, he brought his average down. And so what we tended to work on then, as a midfielder, he was taking shots outside the box, which were unrealistic. He was outside the golden zone, zone 14. So it was for us, we needed him to get him higher up the pitch before he thought about getting his shots off. So again, kind of stats like this you can use with individual players and do. And these are little things that I do all this whilst I'm managing a game, and it's just jotting it down when a shot goes in, a little tick, and I can explain all that as we go through it, just to give you an idea. In terms of under 18s, so this is like ILPs that we do at the football club. So individual learning programs for that player himself. I touch on the top one, which is the 3 non-negotiables. That's player-led. So I want to know what they think are their best 3 things that they gauge by in life. Super strength. So I want them from the coach tells them their super strength, areas of development, and then at my best by the player. What am I at my best? Because whilst as coaches, you always think, right, he's poor on his left foot. So I'll use Garrett again. He was poor on his right foot. Let's work on his right foot. Well, no, if his super strength is his left, let's make that even better, because, you know, you can only make something so good when they're at a certain age. So these just give the players, these do not take long neither. You know, you get the players to take a snapshot of themselves because they're so much good on it. And you just sit down with them and do their player reviews on this. And it just gives them a little bit of an insight that you're working on it. So this is a player matrix. Again, this will be great this season. So we'll have one each for the Cheltenham squad and the Midland squad. We'll have all the players on there, and we'll have them on there, and we'll color code them. So our top 10 will be in green, our next 10 will be in yellow, and our third one will be in red. So green for go, red for orange for amber, the middle one, and then the bottom one's 10 for red. And we will code them into this then, and then we'll all have our opinions. So what I'll do is, before we sit down for our Zoom, say, we'll do one in October. So you're into the season. You've all played about 6 games. Right. There's your 2 matrices, guys. You've all seen each player. Put them in their color-coded, in their position where you think they'll be. And we could have one sheet with them all on. So the striker, for example, Hubert, you could have the three strikers in that league underneath him. So again, and these are little things that I can share with you that that helps with your understanding, but easy to share when there's 5 or 6 of you trying to do it all together and all having an opinion on it. What's this now? I can't see what this is. This is I think it's
guys. Just going to show you some clips from the weekend first.
It's me again. Okay, so this is some clips around a bit of video analysis that I did. That when we film the games, this is something that we would try and do. Okay.
Build up to Saturday.
So,
and whilst it was pretty good, it could
I'll
be
just
better.
Let this play.
So if I stop it on this one now, the first one up. Okay. Hang on, I've gone a little bit far. Just bear with me. I'll do it again. Okay. So as they play it back, the player that I'm coaching is this player.
I'm coaching the team in yellow, guys, and so we were playing. This was Newent against Hartbury, and this was just a bit of feedback that I was giving to the players.
Yeah, your run is to intercept it instead of just dropping in there, let it go to him, let him dictate play, and come out this side, and you would just do a couple of doggies there. Because what you're doing and what you try and do now is you press the player, and by going in there, I want that centre back to get it. You're going to press that player, forcing him then to play forward. Okay, as he plays forward. Ty's not ready on his man because we're not set up for it, because that's why I want the furthest player back to have the ball. He's going to pop it off to him, and then we're going to get out down there, come out the other side. So again, it's in isolation. We pop it out. Ty now goes to press in isolation, but he wants somebody to come and take this player. The only person that can take this player is my left wing back. If my left wing back comes up to there, we're going to get undone down the side of Ryan Barry. So Ty, you go on now and you put your arms. You wanted him to press, but as we come out there, to me, I prefer you just to stay there, Ty. Let him have it. What's he going to do with it? He's in there half. He's no danger to me, in my opinion. Okay? And if you're there, he's got to make a decision then. Well, I either got to dribble and drive, or I can pop that player off. So to me, let's just don't go and press him. But as he does, he comes out the other side. To me, then, had Tommy gone, he would have left this player out here, which would have meant Ryan Barry coming on the winger. We could have done it, but what I'm saying is we've got to go together if we...
So that's just a little analysis session that I would have done. And again, around that, so we were sitting in a low block for that game against Hartbury, who were far better side than us. And at half-time, I think we were 1-0 down. And I'd have taken that all day long because we were sitting in the low block. And this is the first half highlights, but there were still triggers in that we were pressing in isolation. Again, these are types of thing that Lloydie has done these with his group, and I've done them with loads of teams, etc. And they're just from filming the games and doing a brief video analysis on it. So watch this one now.
So this is what I do.
Okay.
Hopefully you can see this on.
So this is basically using my iPad, designing a session, and I'll just let it play, and so you can see it. This is an animated one, tactical iPad. Just a little bit of a session about us trying to play out from the back a little bit, and I'll let it explain it just so you can see it.
When Jen say doing it, okay, we're going to share the video on your screen now. Should be so. Basically, at the top line, playing out from the back, a 5v5 +5 possession game. Option 1, 3 centre backs on the one side, 1, 2, 3, against 3 mannequins there. And what I'm looking for is players to come and support in possession. So at the moment, we're going to start with the yellows in possessions. So option 2, a midfield drops in to support the 3 centre backs. So that could be he could drop into there and one of them shovels over or whichever. On the opposite side, we have 2 defenders with a double mannequin facing like that. So it's basically, there's a flat line, stopping that flat passes across there. So if we receive there, he's then got to drop deeper or he's got to drop in front of that. Going to try and run it through and see if the animation shows up on here when we do this. And here we go. So we play it across, 10's trying to drop in to support it. Can we play down the line? It's closed off, so he plays inside, goes out the other side. And then can we play it across the back, dropping off, angular support, midfielder number 7 dropping in to receive, and then we go around the other side and can we play down the line? So it's just basically looking at those passages of play all the time. What I try and do is if I can try and get it right back to the start and just talk through a little slide at a time. So basically option 1, we start off with the 3 centre backs, pops it across, a little bit movement from all the players now trying to get from the one stage to the next. Then we're coming into now the 2 centre-backs are going to try and play along the line. Then we're looking 7's dropping in to receive. Blues are trying to close off. As it comes into 7, number 23 has closed him down, leaving a space in the middle for a number 11 to maybe open out and we'll look for a switch of play. 8 has dropped out. Straight away, the 2 opposite centre-backs now are dropping into positions to receive. 7, the defender, is looking to receive it as well, with 11 dropping off. As 8 now opens his body to play down to 7.
Okay, so just giving you an idea, and that's a basic session that, you know, that we can share and etc., but also help you design. Obviously, you know, as coming in as the head of coaching, I want to help you in any way, shape or form, and just going through some of these, then I'm more than happy to talk about how it is, how I designed it, etc., and we can do them, and we'll have nights where we do that, because I think it's hugely important, you know, because again, like I said, we can share that across all the age groups and the senior team. Again, this was just a little one around sort of a tactical, you know, a coaching session, how we try and play out from the back, but also when we play out, can we use the point of a diamond? So, and again, this was drawn on the tactical iPad, again, with the shape of how we do it. So if we play out the one side, can we make it a point of a diamond? As you can see by this one, this is the number 7ers. It would have played out to there. I won't run through it again. I can do this again, but there's all sorts of things that I can do in and around that to help with the sessions. And listen, a lot of our players will say never, well, you know, I can't do this, I can't do that, etc. To me, I remember doing on one of my courses, we had a sports coach and he coached an Olympic athlete, and she was told in 1999 that she was too small to be a multi-eventer. In 2006, she won a bronze medal and was told that was the best she'll ever achieve. In 2008, she had 3 stress fractures in her right leg. And that was the leg she jumped off. She was a multi-eventer, so she did the high jump, she did the long jump. That was the leg she jumped off, and she had 3 stress fractures. She had to learn to jump off her left foot. So she had to go back to do the basics as a 9-year-old in 2008. In 2012, at the London Olympics, which was her dream, on her first jump, Tony Minicello, the coach, was in the stand, and he told us a story that the biomechanics analyst came over to him and said, she's just done 19 strides. And he goes, really? She normally does 17. So he turned around and said, well, what was the score? And he said, well, it was a personal best. And he went, well, don't say anything. Let her go. Carried on, and she got Olympic gold, you know, by just letting her run with it. So when they say never, be the best you can, to end up doing what she did and becoming an Olympic gold. Again, within 4 years, she changed from the one foot round to the other. And it just goes to show that it can happen. Go sit down. So it shows that it can be achieved if you work hard enough. I love these little bits of slides. I'll just crack through this quickly. Coincidence or not, the whole alphabet there, if you number that alphabet 1 to 26, A being 1, Z being 26. So what we'd like to be, when we talk about being the best we can be, 100%, how do we get there? So knowledge is key, but is it 100%? No, it's 96. Hard work, which is when I spoke about Jared Bowen the next day after to some press people, I said to him that was his strength, hard work. That was his ethos. He was terrific. And that comes from his family, his work ethic. But again, we fall short of the maximum 100%. There is one word that makes 100%. And that word to me is brilliant, because that's what it comes to. And it is. And it's about the attitude of not only the player, the attitude of mind, the attitude of us as staff that we all want to learn. I always remember the biggest thing for me was a coach coming in to do a session when I was ill and I was injured, and a coach came in and did the session, and I thought I was a good coach. And I saw him, this was only about 5 or 6 years ago, and I saw what he did, and I was like, wow. And I went up to him afterwards and asked him some questions, and I'm still in touch with him to this day, and I still ask him questions now. Be a sponge. We all are. So I end with this one, because this is the type of mindset, the mind thinking that I want us to do. What is the biggest room in the world? What is the biggest room in the world? Lloydie, you've seen this before, haven't you?
I can't remember.
So you don't know the answer?
No, I don't.
So I've asked this.
Ask Tom. Yeah, I know the answer. I know it, but someone else will answer it.
Nearly every presentation I've asked this, and I do a lot of presentations in schools, etc., to colleges, etc. No one has ever got it. I've had some great answers, and normally it's his front room or something like that, or or then they say stadiums and that. And one lad then just said my mind or something like that, and it's like, I like that. I like he's getting there the way I'm thinking. Anyone want to throw one at me, or do you want to see it?
I'll throw one at you. Room for improvement.
And that's it. And that's me, that's Hoops, that's everyone at the football club. Because I think, what we want to try and do to move it forward, like I said, this isn't a year plan, this isn't a 2-year plan. Listen, heaven forbid, I'd love it if we're all here in 5 years' time at the football club. It'd be brilliant. But we all know football is a crazy world. Life is crazy. What's gone on in Nottingham this week is just perfect in tone. You don't know what's around that corner. None of us do. But we still plan for 5 years. So it's a case of sustain what we're doing, because you're doing well as a football club. I don't normally go into a football club when they're doing well, because you're doing well. And that's why when they gave me a call when I left Newent, before you decide on wherever you're going to go, Bevs, give us a call. And I've stayed in touch with them all the way through and spoken to other people, etc. Then could it work around what we're doing with Cheltenham and that? And that's why it's taken so long to get it over the line. Build upon what we've done, what you've done as a football club, and keep progressing it. Because to me, I've seen clubs that have that are playing step 2 at the moment that I've played against and managed against. And I'm like, they are no better than Malvern Town as a setup. They are no better than Malvern Town as a setup. In fact, they're not as good. So it can be achieved. And that achieved to get to that is probably a 10-year plan. But it can be done. It can be done in 5 years. It really, really can. No different to seeing some of our under-18s in the first team has got to be brilliant. Seeing people at the club that are there now, Hoops, Dean, all of them that have come through the system, done it all at the football club. Nothing's greater than that. And that's just...
Is there a way that the 18s they want us to play this season? So both teams.
So what...
In terms of formation,
yeah, well, what we're trying to do, we want to try and mirror what the first team do. Now, we know it's not easy to mirror the first team to the senior dev down to the 18s. Ideally, we do, so as when a player then steps in from the 18s into the senior dev, it's not a challenge. So, and not new to him. So, for example, if you're playing 3-5-2 in the 18s, but the senior devs are playing 4-3-3 because the first team are playing 4-3-3, it's like, well, that's not going to help that left wing back, because I go to the senior dev and they play with a left back, which is a completely different role and responsibility. So what we're going to try and do, and this was something that Hoops touched on the other night, is we do want the whole lot to try and play where we can. That said, we know at Cheltenham Town, our first team with 3-5-2, our 18s are 3-5-2, right through the whole academy with 3-5-2. I've watched plenty of first team games where we've been 4-4-1-1, 4-5-1, because you adapt during the game. That's part of it. So ideally, yes, we want to focus what the first team squads is and their shape. And like I said, another thing we talked about the other night, and these are still ongoing conversations, set plays. We want the set plays, what the first team do, what the senior dev team, and what the 18s, we use the same set plays. Now, the negativity to that is if a coach leaves or a player leaves, then he can go and take our session plans to whoever. But my argument against that is finding a positive in that is he still can't deliver it like we can deliver it, no matter who he is, because he's got players understanding what we do. So that set play, let's say it's a short corner routine, he takes that to against us as an opposition. You've still got to track it. You've still got to get the players switched onto it. So that's what we're trying to do. So is that it looks like the whole club is one line thinking. So those are like the plans. And I'll go back to the one at the start, because I think, you know, I am going to run out of time in a sec. So if I go back to the mind map. So this is how I see the structure with you guys. Like I said, across all of it. And I want you across all the age groups, and myself, whenever I can get in and jump in as well, and deliver a session. And you guys have the session plan beforehand. You tell me what you want me to deliver, and then we break it down after, and we talk about it. Why did I do this, etc. So I see Lloydie coming in and overseeing it all, being sponges to you all, sort of thing, across it all. But also he'll go with one team the 1 week, one team the next week, a training session the following week. And likewise for all of you. And I want to see across that. Same with the senior management team. I want them across that. And if you get a Saturday and you can go with them. So as we're all aligned in thinking how we're trying to do. No different if the first team are there. It's like if the under 18s come to watch a first team match and I'm there, I'll talk to them in terms of the analysis. What am I looking for? What am I looking for my centre back to be doing? Why, if you're a centre back with the 18s, watch the centre back for the first team. Guys, I will stop it because it is just literally going to go. Listen, any questions or whatever, and no question is a bad question. Any question is a good question. Chuck them in the group chat. I'll share this on our YouTube. I'll need your email addresses, so I'll put that in there. Share it back to me, and then I'll get it uploaded and shared to you tomorrow. Sorry, I've rushed through and got it done, but we have got it done. So thank you for your time tonight, guys. Let's go and watch. I think Trent's playing midfield tonight. So again, whilst it's a crap game, England v Malta, Trent playing in the centre of the midfield is going to be great to see that. How are they doing that sort of thing? So I'll look at that as one thing to look at, because I think the rest of the game could be pretty shit.